It's been a while ever since that incident, and I still get nightmares from that thing. Lily is now about 6.5 years old, but she is in love with the Powerpuff Girls in many ways. Luckily, she doesn't know what happened 1.5 years ago, except for maybe you guys. My nightmares and hallucinations are always the same thing. I always be in a dark room with nothing around, and I see that same Powerpuff Girl figure about a sideways car length from me. She looked like a whole lot like Lily as Powerpuff Girl form. She has that dark void in her eyes, besides the white glowing pupils. Her dress is just the same from those episodes, and her skin is still the same gray color as in the episodes. She always repeats the same messages or says something different. Mostly the same thing I mostly hear every day.
You never saved me. Your pain is Judgment Day.
She then runs towards me at fast speeds I've never seen before and punches me really hard in the face. I either wake up in cold sweats or get very paranoid of my surroundings. I had to go see a therapist about it, but it was hard for him to understand what was going on. It's been about 2 months later, and Lily is now missing. She hasn't been found without a trace. I drowned my eyes in my own misery to lose my own daughter as I watched the news. It's been very hard for me to cope with my sanity, and I have been getting a lot of worse nightmares from that evil Bubbles thing. I done some spring cleaning in my garage last night, and I saw that Bubbles figure again, inches away from me. She looked crazy with her pupils small and her eyes twitching while she smiled at me. She crept slowly as I heard her giggles from across the room. I rubbed my eyes to see she was gone, so I went back to clean my garage. That's when I found it. That DVD case. That same Akuryo Bubbles case that gave me nightmares. I thought it was just a dream. I had to get rid of this, once and for all. I put it on my laptop and opened the case to find another disc. There were 2 last time, I thought. The third disc was labeled Anata no Hishensa, which translated Your Misery in English. I hesitated to put the disc in and started watching. There were 3 live-action segments and 1 animated scene. I played the first segment and started with the Japanese girl hugging a plushie of Bubbles for 5 minutes while she was talking about how much she loved it. It was all in Japanese, but you could tell because they spoke some English. The second segment started with the same girl, except she was crying and sobbing, and she sees that Bubbles figure floating in the air inches away from her. Her mom was scared and didn't know what to do. It shortly ended with her flying towards the crying girl, killing her instantly as it cuts off the scene with static. The third and final segment was the police showing up at the mother's door. She was freaking out about what happened in the last segment. She showed the cops around the house and getting into the room where the girl died in. Her body was mutilated and her eyes were gouged out. She kept sobbing as the cops investigated, then it soon cuts off again, taking me to a menu with only 1 option left. I had to play that last episode on the disc. It started with all the dead corpses of all the villains in the Powerpuff Girls laying on 1 pile as Bubbles floats right in front of it. Then she turns her head to another Powerpuff Girl. It was Lily. I knew that because of the haircut she usually has. Plus, she had purple iris. She was crying in the corner like that girl from that second segment. She begged to go home and played for her to not kill her. She sprinted towards her and punches her hard in the face, killing her instantly. She blowed a bunch of black smoke in the air and left. Then it soon ends. I cried at that part. Seeing my sweet angel die to the corrupting being left me scarred for life. That thing kidnapped Lily and murdered her on the spot and corrupted her as well. I kept sobbing for half an hour until I heard a knock at the door. It was her. It was Lily in her Powerpuff Girl form. She was dressed in all gray as well as her skin, and she had that same void in her eyes with that white pupil. She then soon charges at me and punches me in the face. Luckily I didn't die instantly, but I was losing blood fast. I couldn't get up. Why would you do this? I said to Lily, if she even recognized that name.
I already told you. You would pay on your judgment day. And I always keep my promises.
She soon raises her fist. Then she punched me in the face again, this time killing me.